The Hot Wheels Erikenstein Rod originally appeared in 2020, and it's an odd looking little casting, as you can see there. When I saw it, my natural inclination was to think this would be great for a Gaslands style build, and I just never got around to doing it. Recently, I discovered that Lee Perry, and you may remember that name from an earlier build I did of a post-apocalyptic Porsche. Well, he offers a kit of parts to modify this too for free on MyMiniFactory, and I do have a link in the description of the video so you can go print it out yourself if you'd like to do something similar to this. It has a lot of parts to customize this, and I didn't even use all of them on this. There's quite a few parts I left off. And there's even like two varieties of back wheels and back tires. So I kind of pick and chose what I wanted to do. So I started off the usual way, stripped it and tapped it, and then went forward from there. Now this video has some sections that I've speeded up substantially. And I'd like to know what you prefer. If you don't mind leaving in the comments down below, for example here, you see me doing the exhaust pipes, and I've really accelerated chunks of that so you could kind of see what was involved. Do you prefer that, or would you rather just have me skip to where I'm trying to fit them at first, and then you see the finished product with them stuck on, and then me moving on to the next part of the process? I'm curious. I'm really curious. I think this approach kind of shows better a lot of what's involved in this build, even though, I think I had 3 hours of video or so that I've cut down to about 20 minutes. And I didn't record everything. Obviously I don't. That's not what I typically do. I rattle cam paint, so I don't show that. And there's various parts of the process I don't show, just because I'm not set up to record it. But a lot of what's on the bench is filmed. There's some parts that are skipped, but I try and get most of that. And like here I'm putting the visor above the front windshield on. There's a lot of fitting and test fitting and refitting and test fitting again and refitting again that I don't show. Basically, for your sanity and for mine, because I don't know that I want to see how many times I fumble around trying to fit these things. Like the sunroof opening cover. You see it sitting there right at the center of the picture right there. It's a little tiny metal grate kind of cover for the top. I actually threw that on, took it off, threw it back on. I wanted to have it raised, and I wanted it lowered. I ended up with it lowered. You only see me put that on once. So I know how many times I tried. Trust me, a lot of these things you don't want to see how many times I've fit and refit them. But I do want to show the process. And these parts I got to give Lee Perry a lot of credit. The man provides these files for free on MyMiniFactory. They're exceptionally well designed. And for anyone who does 3D printing, you'll appreciate the fact that they're already supported. They have the supports they need to print properly. So you just tear them off the supports and you're good to go. 3D printing can't be any easier than what he's provided with these files. And I think he even has a comment about if you want to sell them in this file. He couldn't have been more generous with his work. So that being said, there's a lot of sources for 3D files out there. And when you get down to it, the prices aren't bad if you have a 3D printer. If you spend a few bucks or, $5 or, in some cases, I see people spend amounts on wheels that very easily you can buy a some beautiful parts for castings, and you can reprint as many of these as you want. So, I really think the 3D printer is a really good investment, and the prices have significantly dropped on the printers. They're not dirt cheap, but, they're far less than they used to be. So it's something that, depending upon the type of builds you're into, and if you're into Gaslands style post-apocalyptic builds, they're a godsend. And if you're into other kinds of builds, you'd be amazed at the kinds of wheels and things you can do with a 3D printer. I took one of the items, and you see I'm filing down one of the headlight areas right now. I decided to stick the gun there, and it seemed to go naturally with that ammo belt on the side of the vehicle. I believe in his original design, he had two guns centered right in front of the engine. So I have made some alterations to what he provided, in addition to not using all of the parts. But it's hard to explain how relaxing these type of builds can be. If you haven't done any post-apocalyptic builds, I do recommend giving it a shot, because they're interestingly and oddly relaxing. In spite of me saying how many times I've glued this stupid sunroof on. Yeah, I think all castings at one point or another, you come close to flinging it across the room. but they're fun. The wheels, you see there at the bottom, I have the small fronts, big backs that he created. I'm using the axles that came with the casting. I believe he designs them just to be glued onto the base. And what I've done is I've gone ahead and drilled through the wheels. I have made it a roller. And, using the original axles couldn't have made it any easier. I think the hardest part in this kind of situation is drilling the straight hole through the wheel. Again, he had two different sets of tires on this for the backs. And to be completely honest, I didn't realize it at first. I realized it after I had put the back axle together. And then I kind of panicked. I thought, oh, Lord, I hope I didn't put two different tires on it. And I didn't. I like this dark chrome of the original casting for that center portion. It's not a shiny chrome. It's this dark chrome that I decided to keep. And more on that later. But I ended up hitting basically the casting itself and the base. It's a metal casting plastic base. And then I hit it with a primer. And then I decided to use basically two different Model Master paints here. There's this one and another one, the flat dark tan, flat light earth. And for whatever reason, I wanted to do the clay camo trick that I learned back in one of Danny's Diecast Disasters videos. Not that this is going to really be a camo vehicle, but I wanted to give some separation in colors to the paint. And I thought, okay, this is a good way to get it. And this is a great trick. I mean, I hated trying camo before learning this from Danny. And it works so freaking well, it's not funny. So, you hit it with one coat, one color, you throw clay on it, hit it with the second coat, and you're going to see here, I went for a real subtle effect. And then I did something else to give it a little more accent here in a little bit. But, man, I love the way this works. If you haven't tried this clay trick, you can pick up clay cheap on Amazon. And you see, it's kind of a subtle effect there. I wasn't going for anything too dramatic. I just wanted some breakup in the colors. And so Now I'm going with an AK Interactive neutral gray wash for sections of the vehicle. But back to the camo. I mean, if you haven't tried the clay camo effect, give it a shot. I mean, it's fun and easy. Couldn't be any easier. A lot easier than trying tape. I've tried tape before, and for whatever reason, it just wasn't pretty. And that's putting it mildly. Then I went over it with this gunmetal, highlighting areas. And here, what I'm doing here, and I didn't realize I left this in the tape, but I picked up these little balls that are for mixing paint. You drop them into the bottles, into the paint pots, and they're dirt cheap on Amazon. I think that was a package of like 50 or 100. And you just drop them in there. They don't rust. And when you go to shake it, it helps mix it up a lot better. And I picked that up on some channel. A mini painting channel that had mentioned it. And it might have been Black Magic Craft, which is an excellent channel to watch if you haven't seen it yet. He doesn't do die casts, but some of the tips and tricks you can pick up from that channel are a lot of help. So again, I'm going over selected sections here with the gunmetal paint. And as I recall, this is just a Vallejo paint. And again, I'm not going for a super shiny effect, but I'm just trying to pick out details. That's part of the reason I left that black chrome interior, as I'll explain later. But there's some sections that I added on this that I'm painting in the gunmetal, and then there's some parts that are just actually on the casting itself that have a metal panel, attached panel look that I painted that way too. That's a camouflage olive green. Again, a Vallejo paint, I believe. And I was trying to dry brush over what I believe is an ammo box on the top. And so I didn't want it to stand out bright green, but I wanted to have another variation in the color. And then what I realized as I was doing this was, hey, I end up changing that headlight color later. But anyhow, I thought, hey, let me just pick out some areas to hit dry brushing with the green to give it more of a odd camo effect. And like right there, I hit on like the separation lines between the two brown tints. And then God bless it, there's Citadel Nuln Oil, which I'm sure you believe virtually no build is complete without using it. It's hard to explain how handy this stuff is for just bringing out, again, just some additional detail. I do, when I'm finished, go over the entire casting with a matte clear satin. But here's the dark chrome insert. And what I wanted to do on that, I have a bunch of paint pens. And so I thought, well, let me use those to add some color to this interior. You really don't see this when it's finished. I mean, you see very little of it. Probably the only parts you see if you really look in the back section are like that fan. The parts of the engine you do see, because that sticks out of the front, above the front, out of the hood. And there's one part that one of the resin parts I specifically chose not to add, so you had a more clear shot at that engine itself. And the black I'm painting on the sides there I go over later with kind of a rust effect, because you see that alongside the back and the wheel well area. But again, that I just like the look of that. I mean, some of the Erikenstein rods have a bright chrome interior. Here you see the camouflage olive green again. I love painting wheels that color. But back to the interior. Some have a chrome insert piece, a bright chrome. But this one happened to have that dark chrome, and I didn't want to change that. Although you don't really see it that well in the final product, I did do that camouflage olive green for the wheels. I like doing that on a lot of Gaslands style builds for some reason. I'm not sure why. It just appeals to me. Ah, the weathering powders. Yeah. Sometimes I think these are the bane of my existence. I just have a hell of a time with them. After I put this on, I did go over it with a matte clear varnish, as you see there. And off camera, you won't see it, but I still wasn't happy with the finished product. So once these were dry, I ended up going over it with AK Interactive's Dust Effects, which is a paint. It's not a powder. And that wrapped up those tires a little better than I thought they would before. So there you kind of see the inside looks wrong in a way because it's bright and shiny, which I like. I didn't paint the rat or the pizza that are cast into the front seat of this thing. As tempting as it was, I let those be. There's no way you're going to see them anyway. I mean, there's just little slits in the windows. If those windows had been open, I would have painted them because that's almost too much fun to resist. But here's how it goes together. You can see I left that engine pretty, which I'm sure some people are going to say, oh, that needs to be more weathered. Yeah, well, maybe on yours. I like the fact that it's not because it stands out. And sometimes, there's odd little things you'll do to these to catch the eye. It's kind of like under the front headlight. I used a paint pen to do that in a bright brass, and I don't know if you'll really see it or not, but there you can see it's actually a roller. But I just wanted to have that kind of stand out. And obviously I did not use the glass from the original vehicle that you see there. So again, that's where we started. Here's where it ended up. I like this. Went with the one gun. Stay out of my way with that one gun. There you can see the bright brass cross under the front headlight. The parts from Lee Perry are fantastic. And they're free. Even if they had been, I don't know, $10, I don't know. It'd be a steal. It was fun, So I hope you like this build. I know some of you love these builds, some of you hate these builds. I like throwing them in the mix, keeping it interesting. So let me know what you think in the comments. Hopefully you enjoy this build. Again, I do have links to Lee Perry's parts in the comments below. Here's some glamour shots, and thank you all for watching these videos. And special thanks to my Patreon members for their support. And catch y'all in the next one. Stay safe and healthy out there.